In this video, I'm going to share a very useful tip if you are looking to submit your paper to WoS Journals and you do not know which journal is useful to you. Recently, WoS had introduced this match manuscript function, which will enable you to have a narrowed down options if you are looking for the relevant WoS journals for you to submit your paper. Alright, so if you still do not know this function, I'm going to guide you through in this video, and it's very easy to use and it's also free. You don't have to pay to use this function, and your university doesn't have to subscribe to WoS to enable you to use this function. So it is totally free. Alright, so if you still do not know, you can just simply type this website. Let's give a try. Master Links Clarivate Analytics. So you click here. When you click here, you click this one, and you will see here match manuscript. So this is the function that I'm talking about. It's very easy to use. So you click here, this match manuscript function, and it will ask you to log in or to create free account. So you'll see it's free account. All right, so if you still do not register to this website, you may want to register because it will enable you to use this function for free. So because I already registered, I'm going to click login. And when I click login, I'm going to put my email address, and that's my password. So I'm going to click sign in now. Alright, so now I'm ready to use this match manuscript. So I click here. When I click here, it says that I need to key in my title and then also my abstract. The abstract of my paper is this one, and the title of my paper is this one. Alright, one important thing that I want to let you know is that when you do this match manuscript function, it is very important for you to include both title and abstract. This is because if you just put only one, for example, only title or only abstract without putting the title, the search result will be very random and it's not useful enough for you to have these shortlisted journals for you to consider. It will simply suggest journals which have very little relevant to your paper, so we don't want that. So remember, when you use this match manuscript function, you need to include both title and abstract for a more accurate result. Okay, so now I will click Find Journals. Okay, so now I got all the journals which are highly likely to accept my paper just now, because the scope of my paper is somewhat relevant to these journals. But you need to remember that this search result is computerized, so don't blindly trust the suggestions given in this search result, because we still need human judgment, human evaluation, which is you need to judge and you need to evaluate whether the suggestions given are really relevant to your paper. Okay, so you will need to go to the journal website and check its scopes under the author guidelines usually. All right, but as a whole, this match manuscript function is very useful because it gives you narrowed options for you to consider, so you don't have to really search thousands of journals which are relevant to your paper. And one good thing about this match manuscript function is that you have the chance to get to know journals which you have never known before. Right, so these are all the journals that might be relevant to my paper just now, and they are all WoS journals. Either they have impact factor or they don't have impact factor. So as I told you before in my previous video, if you want to submit to WoS journals with impact factor, the Q4, Q3, Q2, Q1 journal, you look at the Web of Science score collection. If it is SSCI, if you are in social science citation index, that means this journal has impact factor. They might be in Q4, Q3, Q2, Q1. You need to check the quartile and the impact factor, and I have also talked about this in my previous video. But then if you see this journal, it says emerging sources citation index, then you know that this journal still doesn't have impact factor. It is not a Q journal, even though it is indexed in WS, but still it is a good journal because it is indexed in WS. So depending on the strength of your paper, you may want to decide whether you want to submit to this Q journal or to this emerging journal, which is yet to be given impact factor, right? And that usually depends on the strength of your paper. All right. At the same time, don't forget to visit the journal website and make sure that it is really relevant to your paper. All right. So I hope this sharing is useful. And if you feel that this sharing is useful to you, it might also be useful to your colleagues. Yeah. So like this video and share it with your colleagues, and let everyone gain benefits from this very simple sharing. Thank you and see you in the next video. Bye for now. Bye.